Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to today's presentation. We'll be focusing on Zables and Zables slippers and such. Um, Now, before we begin, we need a little background. Primarily, we look at the millennial scalings and how we'll function and actually determining who we'll be hiring and how we'll be hiring those people. So, according to the U.S. Census, the manufacturing is the fifth largest form of employment in the U.S. with over 11.6 million employees. In the current manufacturing age is streaming from over 16 million individuals. So, which the millennials and post-millennials make up about 55% of those individuals. And looking at this data and looking at this information will determine how we'll manage and who we'll be targeting. Remember, this is going primarily, we look at the labor force. Even though the labor force consists of 11.6 million, what we'll be targeting primarily is the skills that's necessary for them and the age group that actually matches those skills even more, which is management consists of the planning, prioritizing, as well as the organizing efforts to accomplish objectives within the organization. So the following will consist of the founders, Frederick, and also Henry. So look at the contents. We're going to be looking at scientific methods, match with proper skill sets, monitoring performance, applying 360 feedbacks, and career management development programs. Primarily, we look at the scientific methods. Now, scientific management, we could use Likers developing a flow. There is already a pre-existing flow pattern for Nike, which we have the patterns right here, if you like to see. Total planning consisting of RS processing, materials, inspections, cutting, dusting, cleaning. This will be all in the manufacturer level. These are pretty subtle, and as far as automation goes, it would be consistent of machines and everything else. So we can use data to determine what would be the best way to maneuver through these areas and see which production line actually does manage to create the most productive and create the most products at a time, and which one are more effective, just right there on the line. Moving on to the next, we're going to look at the production line and how we maneuver forward with everything. So we have the production line, which is going to be consisting of various components, such as flow and also training. Now we have to match the proper skill sets that's necessary, which the managers will there go for to apply. This cycle goes all around, but we have to have a sort of one because they got the production line matching with the proper skill sets, managerial, performance appraisal, in which the managers would appraise and determine which employees are doing pretty well. And then it goes to the head of the department, which determine how well that line is doing and who and what reason is doing so much better. Then we have productivity analysis, in which we can have a general productivity and seeing how much products are being made and how well the products are being done, which is going to go straight to report to the HR. HR will determine who are doing pretty good and which line and which specific individuals are doing pretty well. And then based on this skill sets, which we will be obtaining from the managerial performance appraisal, we could determine which position will be suited for that specific employee to move up in promoted position. Now, understanding that, you also must understand the managerial style. To understand the managerial style, which is from Henry Foyle, I believe. I'm pretty sure I pronounced it wrong. Henri, which is French. We look at theory X, which indicates that individuals need, well, motivation because they lack motivation. So we have to also look at theory Y, which is it is the industrial self-actualization aspect using Maslow's theory, which would say that individuals need a form of motivation. They're currently lazy and they currently don't have any real skill set that's going to match it up. Or theory Y is going to continue to say, okay, if they don't have motivation, how could we motivate them? And if they don't have those skills, how do we manage to give them the skills? Because we could build our employees. And this is also reflected by Likers, it's reflected by Carter, is reflected by many psychologists when it comes to just determining how to manage employees. And the best form to do it is, well, help an employee who is not well talented. And if they have the potential, you maximize that potential and make them reach it. So To understand that, we must understand the department. So on the line, we need safety training. That is definitely necessary because we don't want, you know, our employees to get hurt or to get cut or to face different kind of work compensation issues, which may end up slowing down productivity and slowing down the line also. Then we're looking at managerial development skills. Those line workers are going to start learning how to manage their own time, which is going to be the first. Then they're going to start learning how to manage others. So we could actually do a we could actually implement a what's that thing called again? A peer or mentorship, in which those individuals will mentor a new employee, line employee, to get in there and begin to get their managerial development skills, and also work with each other. Then we have the department productivity. Then we gonna introduce those individuals to more of a social aspect of this job. In this case, which would be them being able to talk to the department, discuss what is need to be done. This could be done through feedbacks, 360 feedbacks, and also just getting more of a conversation going. This will have them feel like they're part of it and they're part of this organization. Then we move on to career development, which would be more of a self-directed. This is self-esteem. What would they want to produce the career? How would they want to manage the career? What would they want to do with productive line? What kind of aspect? How can they bring anything to us that's going to help our lines get better? And that also includes training and schooling. We could develop programs that brings our employees to school. I mean, school college is one of the, work college, I think, was one of the sources that could be used to train in higher education, especially for employees. So that's another thing to look. And then branch development. Why would we want our employees to stop at just making one aspect or making us better? Why don't we provide them with their own source? Self-actualization. I mean, you could turn to CEOs or upper management, which would be great. It depends on their own ambition. But if you have an employee who has an ambition that's way outside, I think for the company wise, it'll be best to create a branch, a different branch for that employee. And if they want to need that resources, or need that investment, you could actually potentially invest in your employees and it will still be under your industry. So if they're making slippers and they have the massaging technology, but why did they want to make a slipper massaging technology with headphone compatibility? That specific employee is great with technology because you brought them to school, right? They were safe. They learn how to manage others. They also learn how to work with different departments, right? And they also developed their career, this set of skills that's unique to them. And then they go into the branch one where, who would invest in their business? Who would help them grow a little bit more? Who would create separate line? We want employees to actually start thinking like CEOs themselves, but not just thinking CEOs in order to, control or take over something that they already know, but to create their own. So that will be the next step for me. With that being said, this is where the work is decided.